Yo, have you all ever applied for a job? Everything was going smooth, but you actually got like denied a job because your credit was shot. I don't know if y'all know that's like a thing. I know that happened to me once. I'll be honest, I can't even remember what the job was for. It was so long ago. But I remember applying to this job. I mean, I'm going through the process. I did interviews with 2 or 3 people. I'm shaking hands and they showing me like, hey, you'll sit here. And then I got a call like a few days later. It was like, we took a look at your credit, bruh. We took a look at your credit. And just based on your credit score, we are not going to continue on you further in this hiring process. I was like, what in the hell? I don't even remember what the job was now that I think about it. What was the job? I can't even remember what the job was, but it was nothing to do with like I don't know. Just me, I like to think that if it's a job where someone credit is going to have an impact as to if I should hire them, it should be a position where there could be some risk that money could impact their ability to do a job. So like I can understand it if like, oh, I'm a politician. I can understand why, like, oh man, let's take a look at your tax records and see how many people you could potentially owe. Even though, you know, you can still do the job, I can just rationalize in my mind, like, if you have a bad credit history, a lot of debt, you could be susceptible to being persuaded with money because your pockets is kind of crazy, you know what I mean? Or if it's a job where you're working around a lot of money, where you're working at a bank, there's a lot of cash flowing through your hands, I could see at least the rationale or logic to like, hey, I don't want nobody who has a bad credit history working here because they could be tempted to do the wrong thing because they have so much access to capital in this particular position. That makes sense. I don't know what the hell the position was where they told me my credit was whack, but it definitely it definitely wasn't any type of position of trust or being around a bunch of money where I could make it was some normal position. I can't remember. It wasn't nothing special about it though. Well, in this video, we are going to talk about some changes that are going down with how you're reporting to the credit bureau related to medical debts, related to pulling credit reports, and I'm gonna talk about the reason why this happening. Y'all already know I gotta keep it a buck with y'all, so let's go ahead and dive into the video. I'm Marcus. You're at the channel of the Debt Free Dad, where we're rapping, talking, chopping it up, learning about finances. Also, following my family's journey to become first generation millionaires as we currently are tackling student loan debt. Hey, like I said, things are changing. The game is going to be different when it comes to reporting to the credit bureau. So I'm going to talk about some changes to the reporting that's going to impact your credit that could be good or bad depending on how you look at it, depending on how responsible you are. Let's talk about the first one. During 2020, when things got kind of crazy and everything shut down, the three main credit reporting agencies, y'all already know them, TransUnion, Equifax, blah, blah, blah. The three main credit reporting agencies, to have and allow people to get a better view and glimpse of what was going on with their credit, they allow people to obtain a credit report for free every week. That was actually supposed to expire in April or May, but they recently said that they're going to continue this process all the way through the end of the 2022 calendar year. This way, people can have a bird's eye view of what's going on with their credit. In the past, before this rule even came into play, you could only pull your credit report, I think it was maybe once a year or once every 6 months. But once they implemented things, you could pull it every week. They've extended that. So until the end of the year, you'll be able to pull a free credit report from the big three credit bureaus every week if you need to take a look, take a gander, keep a tab on things, making sure nobody ain't opening no accounts in your name, making sure things are falling off, making sure the right things are on there, making sure you look at your credit report and everything looks copacetic. Y'all ever use that word, copacetic? That's like a phrase that, you know, people use that's not really a word. I used that word once in a jury trial. My boss was like, did you just say copacetic? I was like, yep. And when I said it too, the jury was like, he thought everything was copacetic. They knew exactly what the hell I was talking about, and it resulted in my client getting a not guilty verdict. So yeah, I like to make sure everybody's good, you know, everything is copacetic. All right. The second change that's going to be coming on and taking an impact to your credit reporting is going to be the buy now, pay later. Y'all already know when you go on Amazon and you buy something that costs $200, there's a little tab that says you can buy this product for $29.99 for the next 6 weeks and pay zero interest. And it may have Affirm or whatever those companies are called. Well, a lot of people have been using those. They go make their purchase, they click on that link, they pay in installments. Well, now buy now, pay later transactions such as that are going to be reported to the credit bureau. Previously, they weren't. It could be a good thing, but it probably has a higher probability of being a bad thing. Let's just think about it. If you use this feature, all of these loans will be looked at as small loans. They're not going to collectively. If I buy something from Amazon on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday, and I use the pay per month feature, I click on the little Affirm button, they're not going to compile all of those purchases and say, okay, you made a total credit purchase of X dollars. No, they look at each transaction as a separate loan. So it could potentially show you having, one, a lot of open accounts, and it also can impact your actual credit card utilization. That's all those loans are. They give you a line of credit without giving you the actual plastic in hand. So, if you're using those things, you may want to think about how you use them, because they are going to be getting reported to the credit bureaus. Hey, the game got to change. It is what it is. Next, we're going to talk about delinquencies. We all know that, hey, delinquencies generally stay on your credit for 7 years until they fall off. Trust me, I know, because that's actually funny. Like, my wife got like dope credit like that because her was just so shocked after time passed, everything just kind of fell off. I tried that and they took my behind the court. I was like, yeah, I'm gonna do that. I only got a couple more years to go for that debt fall off, and then I ain't gotta worry about it. And you know what I got in the letter? It's like, you have hereby requested your presence at the blah 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 blah. They took my ass to court to get their money. They weren't playing with me. But typically delinquencies would take 7 years to fall off your credit report. Now delinquencies are only going to take 4 years to fall off your credit report. That really could be a game changer, because we've all had situations where we might have been scrapped and things financially might have been tight. We maybe went a period for 6 or 7 months where we couldn't make payments. We righted the ship. We got some economic stability. Then we were making positive payments for 5 years, but those delinquencies are still a factor against you. So that really could be a game changer, with delinquencies falling off after 4 years as opposed to 7 years. It could definitely increase your credit score, which will increase your purchasing power and things like that. So that's definitely a big one that you should keep an eye out for. Next, we're going to talk about your credit and employment. I think when I started this video off, I was telling y'all about a job I applied to and everything was going smooth. I thought I had that job. They showed the brother where his desk was at, y'all. Like, yo, don't show me where my office is at and have me coming back for 65 interviews, but you show me where my desk at. I actually sat in the chair. Like, no, don't do all of that. Don't do all of that just to tell me, oh man, your credit bad, so we not gonna bring you. I know my credit was bad. Hell, you could have asked me if my credit was bad at the beginning of the damn interview, and I would have told you my credit was bad. Y'all on that BS, man. It's crazy though. So, but now your credit worthiness, how your credit is, will not be a factor for consideration with regard to your employment. Now, that's a good thing being said. I don't know how likely that is, and I don't know how much that could actually come into play, because a lot of jobs, if it requires a background check, they can pull your credit up. Most jobs I sat on, I don't know, I ain't gonna say hundreds, but I sat on a lot of damn interview panels. I've been the deciding factor. If it's in front of you, you're gonna look at it. There's that human mechanism there. There's that human innate ability to actually look and consider it. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. I actually wouldn't be shocked if we seen some type of litigation related to this down the road. But employers aren't supposed to look at your credit worthiness. If everything else is good to go, you should get that job. You shouldn't be like how I was looking when they looked and saw a brother credit was jacked up and told me that I wasn't getting the job, I could have saved y'all a lot of money. Y'all could have put that you got good, bad, fair, or so-so credit on the damn application, and y'all would have knew my shit was shot. But anyway, sorry, pardon my language. Okay, the last one we're going to talk about is medical debt. We all know medical debt is a pain in the ass. It's an emergency that happens. Depending on how your insurance game is, you may be in a big ass hole. It may not be that big of a hole, but there are some key changes to medical debt. Let's talk about it. Starting on July 1st. After July 1st, they are now required to give you 12 months to negotiate any medical debt. Before the change, they would only give 6 months for you to negotiate any credit debt. After that, that debt was thrown in your credit report and it could impact your debt to income ratio. Now they're required to give you 12 months to actually negotiate that debt. So you do have a little bit more time. The next thing that's going to be impacting with regard to medical debt and your credit, if the medical debt is less than $500, it will not show on your credit report, no matter if you got it negotiated or no matter if you got it paid. I mean, I think that's a game changer because that directly could impact your debt to income ratio. So not showing that is a big deal. So those are some of the key changes. Now let's talk about the why. Y'all already know how I am. I always want to know why. Why are they doing this? Why are they doing that? I'm gonna just keep it honest. They aren't they aren't making these adjustments to help you as an individual. No, that's not the case. We know statistically about 50% of people carry a credit card debt balance every month and they're paying interest. 50% of people, if they have a credit card bill, they are not paying it off every month. So they're getting tacked with 18, 19, 20, 25% interest, something crazy. This variable rate that's going up every time the Fed raises interest rate. So let's just think about this from a commonsensical standpoint. So let's just take a step back and talk about the why. This isn't done to help an individual. This is something that's done to increase the purchases in the current economy. If I can get someone by making a few changes and increase their credit score from a 685 to a 722, from a 554 to a 613, that may put people in a position to go out and then get additional lines of credit, to go out and make purchases. They don't give a damn generally about your credit, but they do care that people are out here making purchases, stimulating the economy. So that's kind of the view, the lens that you have to look at this with. So when these changes come on, like if you go to sleep on Friday and wake up and your credit score is 80 points high, be smart. Like I'm gonna tell you, one thing I would do if I had credit card debt, and I went to sleep Friday and woke up Monday and my credit score was 80 points higher. One thing that I would do, this is what I would do, how I would utilize it in a smart way. If I already have existing credit card debt, but now I got a credit score that's 80 points higher, I would actually apply for a credit card that has a 12-month 0 APR balance transfer the balance on those old credit cards I have to that new credit card where I can do that balance transfer, pay 0% interest for 12 months, and make as much progress as I can knocking out that debt. So the whole point of these changes are to increase people's credit scores so they can go out in the marketplace. I wanted to give y'all some free game as to the changes that are going on and the why behind it. So if you wake up, your credit score has increased significantly because of these changes. Definitely, I want y'all to move smart, make the right decisions, make the right choices. I know the intellectual savage family out there, hey, y'all always gonna move smart, make those smart money moves. Y'all take care, be blessed, peace.